Hi, I'm Jess Thompson, Director of Psychology at the Optimum Health Clinic, and I'm joined today by Nick Cook from the Psychology Department to talk about men's health awareness. Welcome, Nick, and thank you for joining me.
No problem. Lovely to be here.
So this week is Men's Health Awareness Week, so we thought we'd talk through some of the difficulties that are relevant here. So to start off with, some statistics around this. A survey found that only 36% of referrals to psychological therapies are men. Also, another survey found that men go to their doctor less than women. A 2016 GP survey found that 37% of men compared to 53% of women went to see their GP. So quite big differences there. So Nick, to bring you in here, let's talk about some of the things you've noticed, both as a man yourself and also working with male clients. I know you have some thoughts around emotional styles.
Yeah, I think with regards, and I don't want to generalize in the whole population, because obviously there are some men who are very in touch with their emotions and are very happy expressing their emotions. But I think there's probably a significant proportion who see expressing emotion as maybe being a sign of weakness, as being a bad thing, as something they shouldn't be doing. And that can be detrimental to both your health, your energy, and just how you feel in the world.
Absolutely. So the really that link between how we are with our emotions and how we're doing in terms of our physical and mental health, we know at the clinic is really strong. So can you say a bit more about that, the kind of impacts of not feeling your emotions and expressing them?
Yeah, I think it's really important to understand what an emotion is. An emotion is a feedback mechanism that's coming from our subconscious mind or our body that something is right, something is wrong, that something's going on. And so like any feedback mechanism, if we ignore it, if we suppress it, our body and our subconscious mind will just keep on turning up that intensity because it wants that message to be heard. It's like if we're hungry and we don't eat, our body makes us feel more hungry. If we're cold and we don't put a coat on, our body makes us feel more cold. And it's the same thing. And if we continue to ignore it, to suppress it, to bottle it up, not express it, A, that takes a huge amount of energy to do that. And B, it also causes us to, our body and our subconscious mind to think, well, if you're ignoring this massive important message I'm sending to you, no matter how much I'm screaming, something else must be going on that's really potentially bad and threatening. And that in its turn is a huge use of our energy.
Absolutely. So the tendency to kind of ignore emotions, suppress emotions, not listen to those messages can be really prevalent in both men and women. From your experience, what can that lead to in terms of kind of mental health, physical health?
I think it leads to, A, from a physical health perspective, it's a huge drain on energy. And from a mental health perspective, if you're ignoring these emotions and you're not sort of allowing yourself to express them, to feel them, as I said, the intensity keeps on getting dialed up. So they often can then be expressed in more powerful ways, in more overwhelming ways, and also in ways that can be unhelpful to us, so that that message does get through to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if you could use perhaps an example from your own journey, your own emotional journey, to kind of talk a bit more to this and kind of what you went through, what you noticed about your own emotional style.
So a great example for me is anger. So when I was growing up, my parents didn't do anger. Anger wasn't part of the Cook household. I've got no memory as a child of my parents ever having a row. So for me, confrontation, anger, saying that somebody had crossed a boundary was a bad thing. And that just used to get bottled up and suppressed inside. And I can probably think of probably 2 occasions when I was younger, when I actually properly lost my temper. And those occasions, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't a good thing because there was so much pent up. Then I happened to marry a Dutch woman. And the Dutch, again, not wishing to generalize, but do tend to express things very quickly and very sort of healthily. And Lisa and her mum would go at it hammer and tong and then be absolutely fine. And I suddenly started to see, actually, if you let people know, if you express those emotions, they subside, they pass. Yeah, if you acknowledge, if you accept and you process, it's a much healthier way of dealing with things rather than letting it bottle up and then exploding like a volcano.
Absolutely, yeah. Or letting it bottle up and perhaps be expressed as a physical symptom, whether
Yeah.
that be fatigue or a headache or any other of the kind of physical symptoms we can experience when we bottle up emotions.
Yes.
I know that you wanted to take people through a short practice today in how to actually engage with emotions in a more helpful way.
Yeah, and it's a really simple process. All it is this listening to that emotion, tuning into that emotion. And in the same way that if you have a problem and you go and talk to a friend and all they do is listen to you, that problem somehow seems a little bit less. And in the same way, if you listen to what your body and your subconscious mind are saying, it will start to acknowledge, process, and lessen that intensity. So all you need to do is, in a quiet moment during the day, just sit down, maybe close your eyes, and just start to breathe and notice what you're feeling. Is there a sense maybe of irritation, of anger, of sadness? And if there is, rather than doing what you often might do, which is to back away from it, to shun away from it, breathe into it, really focus on it, acknowledge it, keep on breathing. It might change, it might move around your body, it might shift. Just keep following it, keep going with it. Anger might change to sadness. Keep going with it, keep breathing, keep following it. And just see where it goes, see what happens. And what you'll probably notice is by doing that, the intensity will start to dial down, will start to soften, will start to reduce. And if you can, and this might sound a little bit strange, if you can get to that point when you're really listening to it, ask a question. What are you trying to tell me? And you might not get an answer. And it doesn't matter if you don't get an answer, because it's that act of listening in the same way that that friend might listen to your problem that does the good, that allows that processing to take place. So just take a moment and just try that and see how it goes.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nick. I think very often feeling better, both mentally and physically, is actually about feeling our feelings better. And that's what you're describing there, that ability to feel feelings, notice them, understand them, respond to them. So thank you so much, Nick, for joining me in Men's Health Awareness Week.
Not a problem.